walkthrough of the counseling process, and you should be able to understand how this works. Now, for those who are preparing for the CLAT 2025, our offline as well as online classes will begin soon. Our registrations are open. Those who are interested in the NLSAT, that's the 3-year LLB program for graduates at NLSIU Bangalore, our course starts on the 8th of January. All right, so let's begin with the allotment process, right? So here we are. This round, all of you know, the first allotment list was out, and with the counseling process, you were allotted a certain seat according to your rank, category, and preference list that you submitted. If you received your preferred NLU list, all of you are happy, and you chose to freeze that option. If you're satisfied with the allotted NLU seat, you freeze the seat, you freeze it in your name by paying the confirmation fee. So freeze option students get the allotment and they don't move to the next round. So post today is the 2nd of Jan. So after this, if you've frozen your seat, you will be out of the counseling process and you don't have to go through it again. The float option, meanwhile, they stay on, right, to the 2nd, the 3rd, the 4th option and so on, because they're holding on to the seat currently allotted to them, but at the same time, they want to see if they can get an upgrade. So seats get filled up as allotment progresses, right? Now, talking about preference list. Let's say, for example, in the first allotment, you have been allotted a seat and your preference for that particular college was not at par. So I'm going to give you a few scenarios which will explain this in detail. Right, I think this should be clearer. So let's take a look at, say, hypothetical cases. Adarsh, right? He's a general category student who has been allotted HP NLU at Shimla, and this was not his first preference, it was his 27th preference. But look at his preference list. He's listed his preference as per the year of establishment of each NLU. Okay, now if you remember your application form, you were asked to choose your preferences and he's gone in the same order. Okay, and depending on the fact that his general category, also we have no idea what his marks are or his rank is, but he's been allotted this. Now for Adarsh, obviously it's his 27th preference. He's going to look for an upgrade, so he will choose the float option. Let's look at Priya. She's a general category student, Karnataka based, and so therefore she will come under Karnataka domicile. She has an advantage at NLSIU Bangalore. She's been allotted NLU Odisha, and that was her 18th preference. Let's look at her preference list. NLSIU Bangalore is the first, and then Kolkata is second, and GNLU Gandhinagar is third, and so on, right? She's been choosy about where she wants to go, and she's been careful about how she's allotting her preference. She's been allotted NLU Odisha, which is her 18th preference. She's definitely going to float in order to look for an upgrade. So does this mean Priya will lose the seat allotted to her at NLU Odisha? No. Right? Remember my previous video where I told you about how if you choose to float, you still retain your seat. You're just looking for an upgrade. And by the 5th round, if you haven't found that upgrade, you will go with whatever has been allotted to you, or you exit the counseling process, then wait for the vacant list to come out and then apply afresh. Okay, let's look at the next person, Chetan, general category, Tamil Nadu domicile. Okay, now he's been allotted, first allotment, he's got TNL, Tamil Nadu NLU, and he's been allotted BCom LLB, but that was his second preference. Being a domicile student of Tamil Nadu, let's see, the first preference is Tamil Nadu itself, but he was looking for a BA LLB. Okay, and the second preference was BCom LLB. Okay, so in this case, Chetan may I mean, the only upgrade he can get is in the same college, but a different stream like BA LLB. Okay. And at this point, if Chetan is happy with BCom LLB, because your undergrad degree, BA or BCom, is only a step, right? The main degree is your LLB degree. So if he's happy with this allotment, because his first and second allotment is being Tamil Nadu NLU, he will definitely choose to freeze it. Okay. Now, if you ask me what is the difference between BA and BCom, it depends on a student. If the student is from the commerce background, of course, they will choose BCom. But if they're from science or arts background, or even commerce, and they don't really love accountancy or business studies, or statistics, which is a very important part of your commerce degree. If you're not happy with these subjects, and if you're not able to score well in these subjects, I would say always look for BA LLB, because your Bachelor of Arts will always have HEPS combination. So you'll have history, economics, political science, or maybe one or two iterations there. Okay. So each NLU has put up their semester-wise subjects that are going to be taught. So if you're looking at BA LLB, you can look at which branches will be focused on. Is it English, Bachelor of Arts, or economics, and so on. Okay. So most colleges offer a Bachelor of Arts in history, economics, political science, and then all your law subjects will follow. So yes, coming back to our preference and allotment list, Chetan will probably freeze, because his only other option is to upgrade to BA LLB, and if he's a commerce student, he will choose BCom LLB. So he is in the safe zone. He's going to freeze his seat. Okay, he's going to exit from the counseling process at this point after the first round of counseling. Let's look at Kevin. Kevin is a category student, OBC category, plus domicile of Kerala, and he's been allotted the NLU at Ranchi. The preference was 16. So obviously he will not freeze on this seat. Let's see where his first preference is. Yes, it is Noal's Kochi. Okay, so he's looking to upgrade. Now let's say 16th preference, right? So he'll definitely stay on for the float option. Deepak. Now, this is a very, very interesting scenario, because Deepak is a general category student. Okay, no domicile anywhere in India, and no categories, special categories, right? There's no reservation. He's an unreserved student. So a majority of the questions that come to me are about students who are under All India rank general category, and who have questions about should they freeze right away or should they float. So in Deepak's case, he's a general category student. His preference, well, he's been given the National Law School at Mumbai. Okay, so it's Maharashtra NLU, and this was his 8th preference. Now we know the Mumbai NLU is very sought after because of the proximity to the high courts and the legal fraternity and the corporate houses that function out of the city of Mumbai. So for Deepak, his first preference was NLU Jodhpur, and MNLU Mumbai is his 8th preference. Okay, so if he stays on to float, what will happen is the float will move out in the preference list that he's given. So let's see, 8th preference has been allotted. He holds on to it. He's not going to freeze. He's going to float. So the next upgrade will come to the 7th preference, which is NUJS Calcutta. 6th preference also seems to be the same, right? So he's listed out his preference for NUJS Calcutta at 7th and 6th preference, and NLIU Bhopal at 4th and 5th preference. Okay, so for him, if he upgrades, he will either in the second or the third list, he might see a movement and he might get it. Okay, because he's very close to where he would like to be, right? His eighth preference being Mumbai. If he upgrades to seventh or sixth, he will come to NUJS Calcutta, or fourth or fifth, he'll come to Bhopal, or second is Bangalore, and third is Hyderabad. So the preference would work in the reverse order 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, and 2. Okay, so the next couple of rounds will probably move the seats around. And I'll tell you why the seats will move. Let's just finish the next one, which is Tanisha. She has got first allotment, CNLU Patna, which was her 15th preference. She's a general category student, same as Deepak, without any categories that favor her or a domicile reservation that favors her. So Tanisha is a general category student. Her first preference is NLU Jodhpur, second being Bhopal. Okay, now if she stays on in the float option, she's been allotted the 15th preference. The 14th is going to be Noal's Kochi. 13th would be RGNLU Punjab, right? So that's where that movement will go. So if she's happy with CNLU Patna, she should freeze now. But if she's looking to upgrade, she can float. And what that will do is move her. If seats are available, then she might either get 12th or 13th preference. Okay. Right. So from this discussion, what you will gain is an understanding of how the preference list will work in your favor if you choose wisely. If you choose the domicile seat, right, give it your first preference, and then look at the NLUs that are really well established, the top 5, 6 NLUs, right? And when I say top 5, 6 NLUs, they are according to the year of establishment, because the older the NLU, the better the alumni network, and you also have good placements. All right, so let's see how this goes. Chetan will, I would say he would freeze, right? He's happy with his NLU allotted, and all the others will choose to float. So today being the 2nd of Jan, how will things progress from here? So your first round of counseling ends today at 1 p.m. Then what happens? If you're satisfied, right, and you've been allotted the preferred NLU seat, please choose freeze option. Okay, you say yes to paying the confirmation fee. This is non-refundable. It is $20,000. 20,000 rupees. And then you say yes to the option that tells you that you have to make the university fee payment by May 14th. Okay. Now, that is very clear for those of you who are absolutely sure that the seat allotted to you, you're completely satisfied. This is the college you're going to spend the next 5 years, and this is your preferred NLU. For those of you who think there is a possibility of an upgrade, you will say no and you will move to the float option. You're not going to freeze, you're going to float. Okay, this is what you're going to do. And when you float, what happens? The possibility of getting a higher preference NLU list, maybe that will open up for you, like we saw in the case of Deepak. Okay, you pay the confirmation fee either now or by third round of counseling. What happens on the 8th of January, the second round of counseling will begin. So you will go into the second round of counseling, and a lot of seats churning will happen. Those who freeze their seats, they will exit the counseling round. Those who will move to another college, like for example, NLU Delhi, right? The IELTS exam was held, the results are out, and I have NLU Delhi here, the website, National Law University Delhi, and they have brought out their first counseling list. All right. Now here, what's important is they are going to freeze admissions by collecting a sum of 50,000 by the 4th of January. Okay, and this confirmation fee must be paid by 11 a.m. on the 4th of January. So those people who today decide that they are not going to go ahead with CLAT counseling, but rather prefer to go and study at NLU Delhi, at IELT, having done the IELT exam, they're going to NLU Delhi. They will go ahead and participate in the counseling process there. Okay, the allotment list is out. Those who are interested must go and confirm their seats, and the deadline ends on 4th of January. And because of that exit, what happens is those many seats move out of the counseling process, right? So what happens is NLU Delhi has about 112 seats. I think 110 plus 2, okay, for Kashmiri migrants. So 112 seats. So these number of students will leave the CLAT counseling process. And then what happens is, because of those people who chose the freeze option, those children will also move out of the counseling process. So then, because of that churn happening, all those who go into the second round of counseling will see new allotments against their names. Okay. And you will come to the second counseling process on the 8th of January. If you're satisfied with the allotted NLU, you say yes. In that case, what's been allotted to you in the first round of counseling will go back into the pool of seats. And what is allotted to you in the second round is what you will choose, and you will make the university fee payment. Okay. Now, let's say you're not happy there with the second round of counseling. What do? You say no, choose float option, right? And wait for the third counseling process. And then say either yes, then you go ahead, no, then you wait for the fourth counseling process. Then you say yes. If it's still no, then you go towards the fifth counseling process, and then you will either choose to study in the NLU allotted to you, or you will exit. Okay. So a couple of things that have come to my notice is a lot of students are very curious about vacant seats allotment. Okay, so vacant seats, the list will only come out after the 5th round of counseling, and they will also have some criteria set. So for example, they will say you must attend an interview session. Okay, certain colleges also hold group discussion and personal interview. So it all depends. Each NLU will take their own method of admission. There is a separate fee that will be charged. Okay, that counseling fee will be for that particular National Law University, unlike what you've paid now towards the counseling process. The second question that I often encounter is the NRI seats of all these NLUs. Not all NLUs have NRI seats or NRI sponsored seats, and you will only qualify for it if at the time of the application itself you've chosen that as your category. Okay, so regarding that, I shall bring out another video, but the allotment process for NRIs haven't really begun right away. Okay, so we have time. So this brings us to the end of today's interaction, and I hope this has helped you, those who are moving to the second round of counseling. Okay, the second round of counseling will happen on the 8th of January, and meanwhile, what I would recommend is go to the consortium website and go to each National Law University allotments. Okay, for example, I wanted to bring your attention to NLSAT, and I've opened it here. So you will see the All India rank 4 and 6 had chosen NLSAT as their first preference, and they've been allotted that. But So that's 2 ranks out of the first 39 ranks that chose NLSAT, right? The rest, 37 seats, are either at NLSIU or NLIU Bhopal, or they've chosen not to pay that initial counseling fee because they got their results for NLU Delhi and they have moved out. Okay, so like this, if you go and analyze each NLU's allotments, you will see that because NLSIU has increased the number of seats, right? They have 300 seats now compared to last year, which was, I think, 240. So now they have more number of seats, right? So a lot of students get allotment at National Law School, Bangalore. Nalsar only has 135 seats, and NLU Delhi has about 112. Okay, so the seats matrix keeps changing, and this year we have NLU Tripura also joining the counseling process. Okay, so that's the information I wanted to give you today. Thank you for your time. Have a nice day.